Good evening. Today is April 7th. We had another sleepy day in the markets. S&P 500 traded yet in another narrow 18 or so point range and closed up around 11 points.
But yet, as sleepy as it was, we've had probably the greatest continuous rise in history. We're up about 6%, 7 consecutive big days in a row. So as sleepy as it is, it's a cause for great celebration, and it was extremely woke. Go on.
It was, and Biden said that the only not too woke news was that Biden said that he's willing to negotiate on his proposed corporate tax hike rate and somehow tie those negotiations with the infrastructure plan. So he's willing to budge and maybe not have as high tax rates.
Well, this is old ruse of politicians. They start out by suggesting some terribly negative and punishing legislation, and then they hold your hand and they say, okay, well, instead of sending you to the bad one downstairs, we'll send you to the River Styx, and we won't kill you immediately. So thank you very much for your lobbying, and as you can see, we were able to compromise. We believe in compromise around here. Continue.
What was strange is that Russell 2000 was down 1.35%, while NASDAQ was up 0.35%.
Well, everything can't go up all the time, but we've had the greatest. I'm looking back to 2001, and I don't see seven days with significant rise each day. Remember, we started out at 2 Tuesdays ago at 38.61. Now we're up 39.73. It's a nice 6% rise. And it's been very continuous since 38.64. Last Thursday before this, it was 38.64. We went 38.64, 38.82, 39.05, 39.64. Then we had one down day at last Tuesday, 39. It's been great. It's tremendous accretion of wealth. Everyone who has a pension fund or a tax-deferred plan is sitting in the catbird seat.
Will it continue, though? That's what everybody wants to know. Is because, like you said, it's such an unusually strong and fast rise up. Is pullback in order?
Well, I don't make predictions, as you know. When I do make predictions and I'm right, it's all luck. You know, you imagine if the market had gone down 7% and 9 out of 10 big declines. Everybody would maybe be saying you can't stand in front of a freight train moving down at 60 miles an hour. And similarly, we're at 40.75 and 4100 is in our sights, and NAS is very strong. Everything is. The only bad thing is the members aren't making as much money as they usually do. There's only volume of 1 million shares today, so and as you say, the range was incredibly small. was only 20 points. It couldn't break the Soji number. Soji still is drinking his Kona coffee.
Well, it's also because the volatility is also going down. We just made a new yearly low under 17 today. So that's another indication of a narrow range and quiet trading.
Well, that's dangerous for those who might have sold puts in the past, because they're subject to increasing margins. First down day they have, they'll increase the margins, they'll increase the expected VIX range. I haven't tested what a 30-day low in the VIX means, but in terms of this continuous rise, it's 50-50. I have even less of a prediction than usual for tomorrow.
I guess we'll just have to toss a coin.
That's right. It's a random walk. The whole thing is a random walk, except
random walk up.
Except for one thing. There's good news on your front. The chances that DeSantis will be the Republican nominee for president is almost the same as Trump now.
Well,
15% for DeSantis and only 20% for Trump. In fact, it's only 1 in 5 that Trump will be the nominee.
I really think the situation is, unless if Trump actually runs, DeSantis is not going to challenge him. So it's up to Trump really to decide and set the stage. DeSantis is not the guy who's going to challenge Trump. He wants to be his follower, his replacement, but he's not going to challenge him in the primaries if Trump runs.
Democrats continue their increasing margin of likelihood of winning the presidency in 56 versus 43. It's at a maximum, but anyway, it's 1 in 5 that Trump will be the Republican nominee. Let's hope that he doesn't use his small-minded approach and criticize and hobnob the competitors. He has so many competitors that Republican candidates, Nikki Haley, Noem, Pence, Cruz, they all add up to 80% chance versus 20% for Trump. So I think that's very good. But now, what else is?
Well, we had Fed meetings released today for a March meeting, and
what difference does it make? What they revise those meeting minutes based upon how the market's doing and what the government wants. I think I felt the most woke thing today is the fact that they're willing to basically reduce the national pastime, make baseball the independence, the archetypical game, right in the middle of the growing season. The All-Star game is see the way the baseball works. It starts out when they sow the seeds in the spring, and then they reach their maximum growing into the All-Star game, and then they have the harvest in the fall. So everything is related to the agricultural origins of the game. It's played on dirt and grass, and each stadium is different. So it's really an individualistic sport. The lefties have different from the righties, and it depends on there's asymmetry and a million asymmetries in the game. It's very individualistic, and the fact that when the current president said, stop it, that to me was the apotheosis of the update today. That's why it went up, because that was the most woke thing. He's basically saying that anyone who challenges the desire to have photo IDs and who's trying to create some semblance of fairness in the voting, he says, stop it, and the big corporations go with him because they're afraid to invoke the negative spirit of the media and the big techs. So no, it was an archetypical day. That's seven big up days in a row. Never happened before.
And what do you say of Nikkei that just Nikkei can't cross 30,000 for what now, weeks?
Well, I think that the operatives there must be spending too much time in the Love hotels. They generally don't like to lose face like that, and it loses status. So I think that's another reason that will hit after maybe one or two little hitches. We will hit 4,100, and then at that time, the Nikkei will go above 30,000. So we'll catch up. There's really some bad news and very woke, I should say, very good for the market news in New York. It's going to the dogs. They're increasing the service rates there so that it will be the highest in the nation, and people are leaving for Florida to start already. And why would anyone stay when they're giving 60% for the government? Crime rate is increasing, and it's like I said in the invasion of the body snatchers. Garbage is on the street. Everything is against the productive person. I think, of course, almost as woke was everything is the Treasury Secretary, and I think I may be the only one that picked this up, although I'm not as sharp as I should be, or anyone else. I don't think that the president remembered Janet Yellen's name. He was asked if he spoken to Chance Gardner, and he of course said, oh, of course, I'm not like the former president. I don't try to interfere with my with the independent agencies. But then he didn't seem to recall the name of the Treasury Secretary, who is working. She's working against all the big corporations, but they love her. It's like if you're playing in a tournament and all the close seats to you get eliminated. You don't mind if they reduce the prize money because you have a better chance of winning. So with all the small businesses, the 100 million to $1 billion dollar businesses being hurt by all this legislation, and with the Treasury Secretary working to create a universal ban on keeping the fruits of your own labor. This is very, very progressive. There's another reason for the market to go up. So New York is ruining itself with the increased service rates, but the governor is under pressure because there are a lot of lawyers who are very qualified and have good relations with all the judges, are respected very well, and they're all working against the governor. And there was the girl whose house he visited for flood damages has made some very bad accusations, and there are pictures of some inappropriate kisses. If this was Harvey Weinstein, not only would he be in jail for life, but he's in trouble. He's in trouble because lawyers against him are pretty competent, and no matter how much the bureaucracy tries to delay and create uncertainty in their examination of all the scandals against him, the lawyers for the 9 women will be very strident against him. So that's
what's interesting about the corporate tax, for example, Amazon came in favor of increasing corporate taxes, which is kind of interesting because Amazon corporate tax rate is insanely low. So are they trying to punish the competition by having the competition pay a higher federal income corporate tax rate while they're not? And same thing with Lyft and Uber. They also, one of them, Lyft or Uber, I forgot, came out in favor of increasing the corporate tax rate because they're not paying any, because they're losing money on a monthly or daily basis. Yet the Uber and Lyft both fighting taxes on individual drivers and treating them as contractors. So some corporations are actually benefiting from higher corporate tax rates as well.
Well, I think one of the great regularities of human nature is that individuals will act in their own self-interest, and all the actions regarding the service rates are. Let's end with. We won't hear anything from the great man again because we lose too many subscribers when we. It's amazing that the algorithms somehow can pick up the, even though we didn't mention the great man's name, the algorithms somehow are able to find a quote from 1873 and take a lot of subscribers away from us. But we're trying hard, but apparently we're not. Here's the proverb of the day. I have won some by blood, sweat, and tears, and others by a stroke of luck. That's with our 8 lucky calls in a row as to which way the market's going. Some are destroyed by defeat, and some made small and mean by victory. Let's hope that the former president does not try to create vengeance for his defeat. Greatness lives in one who triumphs equally over defeat and victory.